Michael and John D. here, and we just scored a huge victory for the cryptocurrency market as a whole. Guys, in this video I'll explain what that victory entailed and how it will affect the current Ripple SEC case. We need something good for the cryptocurrency industry because, guys, it's been a while. This was fantastic in every way. And listen up, guys, this is something that absolutely everyone will want to check out. Make sure you're here for the duration of this event. As always, guys, if you enjoy the content here and want to see more like this, please subscribe, like, and turn on bell notifications. The growth of this channel will be greatly aided by these 3 easy changes. And it means a great deal to me. Uphold has blown it out of the water. They have so many cool new products that no other exchange does, so if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Fleur token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange down in the description of this video, guys. Uphold has been blown it out of the water. As such, I strongly advise you to sign up for an account with them through the provided link in the video's description if you don't already have one. To that end, then, gentlemen, let's get down to business. To that end, I appreciate you reading, and I hope you find the material entertaining. Guys, don't linger around here any longer. So, without further ado, let's discuss the huge victory that John D. and I just secured for the entire cryptocurrency market. And now for Jeremy Hogan to weigh in. When the SEC Ver Library hearing began, he spoke first. What's more, guys, the SEC just today went on the record to say that tokens themselves are not securities. Thank you for your service, Mr. D. I was watching John Dean's live stream when it happened, and he described everything that went down. And that's essentially what went down today, or in the library versus SEC court case. All that was happening was that the SEC was going to the library and saying things like, okay, well, now we need to talk about what fines you pay, because we decided that you violated securities laws, with the underlying question being whether or not John D. would use this as an opportunity to insert himself into the case as an advocate and bring this up to the judge. The LBC token was being offered for sale as a security by that library, so be warned. What would happen if, for example, a library token buyer resold their token on the secondary market? Is that something that would be considered the sale or purchase of securities? The judge agreed with John Deaton that this transaction did not involve securities. Further, we can say the following, with the hope of improving matters even further. In response, the judge asked the SEC, hey, doesn't it make sense that if someone else was selling the LPC token, well, that shouldn't be a security of library? Because the library has no control over who uses the token and who sells it. The token has no central authority. Guys, the SEC had no choice but to agree with that evaluation. This is huge and gives us a major victory in the cryptocurrency market. The SEC has been trying to argue cases like the library case and the Ripple case in a very nebulous manner, attacking the company that sold the token but not providing any depth of clarity on the secondary sales. What happens when a company sells its token is the only concern of the SEC. If this is true, then the token is not the security, which brings us to our final point. That's what happened with the library case. This is also being done in the Ripple scenario. In contrast, guys, today, thanks to John D. and we did get clarification that the token itself is not the security and that the SEC is aware of this. This will provide much needed clarity for virtually every other cryptocurrency project out there, as the SEC's absurd tactics of regulation by enforcement have already led to the bankruptcy of one such project, Library. Guys, we've taken a big step toward codifying what should have been common knowledge from the get-go. The token is not the security. This goes against everything the SEC has been working for, guys. The SEC's agency-wide strategy, as Fred points out here, appears to be to claim that secondary sales are securities in the complaint/litigation, but then back down if the other side pushes back on this ridiculous assertion. This is actually happening, guys. And what we can expect in the Ripple scenario. The SEC is always trying to get the most bang for their buck by making the most extreme accusations possible. As far as the SEC is concerned, it's safe to assume that many of these claims are completely baseless. However, the SEC intends to level all charges at these businesses and hopes to find a judge who will side with them. I'll let you in on a little secret, guys. The judge in the library case was a lot easier on the SEC than the judge in the Ripple case. I was surprised by the judge's decision in the library case, which held that secondary market transactions do not constitute securities. Even so, he reasoned to that conclusion. Guys, this is a huge step forward because it gives me even more assurance than before that Judge Torres will not side with the SEC in any way, shape, or form, and will instead make a ruling that is much harsher to the SEC. The notion that she will ever accept XRP as a security on the secondary market appears to be completely dead. And I think the chances are better than they've ever been that she'll just completely dismiss everything the SEC is accusing now. It's no secret that Ripple has a lot more resources and superior legal representation than Library does. Library did not oppose the concept of a common enterprise, which is central to their case, but which Ripple is actually fighting. The court's decision that the LBC token or securities sales to libraries could only succeed on the secondary market followed naturally from this fact. However, Attorney Bill makes the critical observation that Ripple is actively opposing the concept of a shared enterprise. Since this is the case, it seems likely that the ruling that XRP traded on the secondary market is not a security will be issued to Ripple. However, things are looking up for Ripple's sales as well. If they end up losing out on anything, it will likely be on the very first XRP sales, which many have speculated about, including John D. and others, and which are likely the only sales at issue in this case. This is fantastic news, and it will be a game changer for the whole business sector. If today's ruling in the court case between the library and the SEC is overturned by, say, Congress providing clarity or cryptocurrency tomorrow, then the entire case may have been for naught. However, both John D. and he have gone on record as saying that they do not believe Congress will pass any legislation clarifying or regulating cryptocurrencies anytime soon. Because of the precedent set by this case, various projects will now be able to proceed without first registering their tokens with the SEC. Okay, so what does this mean for the future of the crypto market as a whole? The judge hasn't officially ruled that secondary market transactions don't involve securities, though. He did, however, make that crucial admission in court. He will almost certainly factor in the SEC's court admission of the matter. One major lesson that appears to have been learned today is that tokens themselves are not securities. This is a major accomplishment, and the effects will be felt for the better in their case as a result. The other thing we learned is that John D. Ian, who was not even involved in this case, drove all the way to New Hampshire to transform it. This man is going to make such a huge difference in this industry. He can now rest assured that the token itself will not be considered a security under future judicial precedent. Without him, none of this would have been possible, guys. There is no question in my mind that John D. Ian is the most underrated person in the entire cryptocurrency industry. The SEC would have simply told the court that the issue of secondary sales is not being handled in this case, and the judge probably would have agreed with them. Who knows what would have happened if John D. wasn't involved in this case and its ripple effects, so I hope today is just another great example of why. Because, listen up, I'm going to tell you that the SEC deliberately brought these cases so that they could classify secondary sales as a security, and they were going to lie, cheat, and steal to make that happen. The presence of John D. in both of these transactions necessitated discussion of the possibility of a subsequent sale. It's in the spotlight, and the judges have no choice but to take it into account when making their decision. Without him, these possibilities would never even be considered. That, and the fact that he was already inside. The SEC will only be able to take action against companies that are engaged in the direct sale of tokens. If you have a Twitter or another way to get in touch with John D. and I'd appreciate it if you'd let him know how much his work has helped ensure that the regulators won't be able to crack down on secondary markets or prevent regular people like you and me from owning cryptocurrency. Many lawyers in the cryptocurrency industry make six figures while contributing nothing of value to the sector. All they're doing is filling out forms to stay in compliance. John Dean isn't getting paid for any of this. He has repeatedly turned down offers of support from the XRP community. God willing, I hope someday we'll be able to repay him for all he's done for us. But for the time being, guys, all we can do is thank him profusely. He's doing this pro bono, and he's making a huge dent in the SEC's plans to destroy the industry. And, dudes, if it weren't for him, they might have progressed even further than they have. Okay, guys, I hope this update was entertaining. According to everyone in the world of cryptocurrencies, John D. is a living legend. For now, I'm just hoping you guys can let him know that he is.